Hello and welcome back to Bannerlord Modded. So we are here on the inventory screen, and this is something that I haven't done in a long time. I was about to say, this is the most exciting thing that I can show you. Yeah, no, it's not, obviously. But here's the thing. I would like to give you an update. Actually, someone asked for this in the comments, and that's actually true. I haven't given you an update on how Polmark is doing, how our other companions that we know a little bit more about are actually doing in terms of their equipment and things like that. Anyway, you can see here, Barney himself actually does need a torso upgrade, and there is actually one available in my inventory right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click this wonderful button up here, and boom, everyone is going to be equipping some additional things. Now, obviously, you got to bear in mind that not everyone can use a horse. Some people are not so good at using horses and things like that. Now, I don't really mind if they actually do end up using a horse, because that means that they're going to be gaining some riding skill next time we go into a battle. And that just means that we have more cavalry and things like that. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, this is what we're currently using. As you can see, we actually gained a pretty significant upgrade, because I know that a couple of people have been saying in the comments, oh, you should, upgrade your armor. And yeah, actually, you are 100% correct. I should definitely have upgraded my armor a long time ago, because I have a suitable amount of cash, as you can see. So it should have been something that I might have wanted to do a little bit earlier on. Anyway, here's Polmark right here. Okay, so he's using this. In my opinion, this is not suitable for a man of his stature. I should probably get him something a little bit better, to be honest. Don't you think? Yes, I should probably get him something a little better. And here we have Nolden. As you can see, he's using... Why is he still using... Oh my! Oh, I'm so sorry, Nolden. I am so sorry. Okay, I had no idea he is still using something so incredibly bad. Alright, let's give him a two-handed axe. Yeah, let's give him something like that. What, that's the best thing I have? Really? Okay, apparently that's the best thing I have, and I don't have any two-handed swords or anything like that, which is hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna need to either make him a two-handed sword, or I'm gonna need to do something about that. Yeah, he desperately needs some upgrades, in my opinion. Okay, Sothorus obviously is perfectly fine. As you can see, he's using some amazing gear. Her the Anvil, we've obviously outfitted him in some really nice throwing weapons and everything, and he's doing really well in regards to his armor as well, and most of these people are absolutely fine too. Hilariously enough, Celia does not have a better option than this sword, but she gets a suitable amount of kills anyway, so I suppose it's not that big a deal. But it seems to me like we need to go and have a bit of a shopping spree at some point. I would say that maybe now is not the best time, because I would very much like to try and, just safeguard my... Wait a minute, there's a two-handed sword right here. Alright, it's a one-handed / two-handed sword. But yeah, I would like to try and safeguard my money at the moment, because you never know when you're going to need it. I might actually go for this two-handed cleaver and give that to Nolden. That might make sense. I mean, this, as you can see, has 120 swing damage, which is pretty good, but the swing speed is 69, which is really kind of terrible. As you can see, in comparison, this two-handed weapon has an 86 swing speed. It is 25, wait a minute, 25,000, really? Wow, 25,000 for one of them. Okay, I think it's worth it. I mean, we literally haven't taken care of him at all, and I think it's about time that I do that. So, there you go. We've now given him something. Now, one thing that I really want to address real fast is the fact that I think someone... What was it again now? Yeah, someone mentioned that I'm really overpowered, okay? Well, I mean, that is to be expected, of course. I'm really overpowered at the moment. Okay, so now what I've done to make, to make things a little bit more interesting, shall we say, I have increased the difficulty significantly. So now we have a much higher chance for companions to die. I know. Don't worry. For those of you that actually are understanding about these kinds of things, props to you. But for those of you that are not, well, you're going to be very pleased that we're going to lose our entire army in this battle. What do you bet? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're going to go in here and see what we can do against this guy. Now, as I said, My chance initially was at, I believe, 20% or maybe more less than what we than what is default, basically, because I wanted to try and prevent our companions from dying almost instantly, right? That was the main reason for my decision behind that, but I have now reverted it into the opposite direction. So I basically made it so that it is even more likely for companions and for enemy lords and for all those things to actually die. And what we're also going to do is we're going to try and get married as well in this episode. I'm going to try and get married, and we're going to see if maybe I can have some children or something like that, which also I have changed the duration of too, because I'm thinking, well, you know what? I don't really want to wait, 30 days or something by default? Yeah, I don't really want to wait 30 days to sort of find out whether our prospective wife, whoever that ends up being, is pregnant. So we're basically just going to sort of speed that up. So I've cut that duration in half. So we have 50% faster, faster pregnancy, I guess you could call it. So yeah, obviously that is definitely going to help us, but again, I wouldn't say that that's overpowered in the least. I think it's basically just a way for us to start our dynasty, so to speak. Literally, I just got hit in the head for 142 piercing damage. That's gotta hurt, isn't it? Yeah, that hurts like no one's business. Anyway, I'm gonna get off my mount in a second. I just wanted to do a little bit of horse archery. I love horse archery. I think it's a lot of fun, especially in Bannerlord. I would say it's probably not as fun in Warband, but that's just my opinion. And yeah, otherwise, there we go. And yeah, just actually touching upon that point once again, how overpowered we are. I mean, that was the intention. That was actually the intention, because eventually we are going to have a situation. At least that was my intention, to be honest, to literally have an army that is entirely comprised of companions. And so it's going to foster a bit of a sort of XCOM style of companion attachment, I suppose you could call it, because that means that we, as a community, are going to be thinking to ourselves, oh, I really hope Polmark doesn't die in the next battle, or something along those lines. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that I wanted to try and push for. And that's the reason why I basically made it so that our companions are very powerful. Bear in mind, I'm not actually that powerful, by the way. I personally don't think I mean, yeah, sure, okay, fine. I'm doing a lot of damage and everything, but I can still die really easily, as you just saw right there. I just took a headshot and basically almost died. And also, you got to bear in mind that we do have a significant amount of HP, but that HP also does not regenerate faster. It does not regenerate faster than normal, so it takes a long time for us to restore our health. And if we get into too many battles in quick succession, and I'm already damaged, I'm going to be in a pretty troublesome position. But, yeah, I think, what did you, I think, oh yeah, you said, how can you have fun being this overpowered? Okay, so my answer to that is, fun is subjective, my friend. Fun is subjective. So in other words, some people might have fun, for example, in the old days when cheats were a thing, cheat codes and stuff like that, in like the PlayStation 1 era, I think in N64 era as well, and I mean definitely in some of the older consoles as well, and going forward into the PlayStation 2 and obviously the Xbox and all those other consoles that followed, cheat codes eventually kind of faded away, right? I mean, if you were around then and you had one of those, then obviously you know what I'm talking about. But generally cheat codes kind of faded away. And obviously, I turned more from playing on console to playing on PC. I don't know why that happened, but I think I installed Steam, and that was it. So I just never looked back, really, I suppose, in that aspect. My first ever game, I believe, was what was it now? Defense Grid. Yes, that's it. Defense Grid: The Awakening, and my PC at the time could barely handle playing that on the lowest settings possible, and I just had a huge amount of fun. And now I'm dead. Well, that's obviously to be expected. But yes, anyway, the point is, cheat codes used to be something that you could have fun with, and obviously this was a completely optional thing to employ. Wow, huge amounts of people that actually leveled up right here as well. So I'm going to go for Vlandian Banner Knights once again. Sounds pretty fun to me. And someone actually mentioned some additional things that I probably wanted to do. I think someone mentioned that leadership increases people's party size. That's actually not true as far as I'm aware, because steward is the thing that increases people's party size, but maybe leadership is something that I want to actually get for one of these people, because it might make sense for leadership to be a thing so that they can maybe earn more influence, because as far as I'm aware, leadership increases the amount of influence that you get, or maybe it increases the amount of, well, the amount of leadership qualities they have so that they can end up leading actual armies. That might make sense. So we're going to do that, and we're also going to do some tactics, and we might as well do, I mean, athletics is really, really good, just so you know. Athletics is really good because it also increases people's HP, and that really makes a huge difference. But I'm going to go for scouting here. We're going to go for scouting, tactics, and I suppose medicine with the other guy. And yeah, so anyway, so fun is subjective. So for example, you may think, oh yeah, you know, using cheat codes and stuff like that, you know, obviously they were completely optional and everything. And that's kind of a similar thing to modding games. So for example, I mean, these mods, right? These mods are to make the game experience more interesting. Yeah, so it's literally, it's just to make it more interesting. That's kind of the whole point, right? Because otherwise I would be playing the native game, and while cheats are available in Bannerlord, it's not really something I'm interested in. I don't know why, because I used to very much enjoy using cheats in a game like, if you recall, I know some of you out there remember this game, and big props to you as a result of that, but Future Cop LAPD. Future Cop LAPD. That was one of my favorite games. I think it was on the... Was it on the PlayStation 1? I think it was on the PlayStation 1. And that was amazing. That was actually amazing. Really, really enjoyable game. And you could enter a cheat code, and then you could unlock all of these skirmish levels with this like evil AI or something like that. I can't really seem to remember the specifics regarding that. But the AI seemed to be... I don't want to say alive, but it seemed to be very smart. And it was a very menacing, I think he was called Sky Captain or something like that. Wasn't he called the Sky Captain? I mean, I know that's the name of a movie with Angelina Jolie, and also I think a graphic novel series or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I seem to remember something along those lines. But anyway, the point is I entered those codes, and it was just so fun to be able to play all of those... all those levels without having to go through the campaign and all that stuff, even though the campaign was very fun and enjoyable nevertheless. But anyway, as I'm basically saying, just let people have fun with what they like. That's it. That's literally what I wanted to say, because in general, if you don't find it fun to play with these mods, or to play with cheats or cheat codes or whatever you want, that's fine. You know, you don't have to. Right? You don't have to. I'm sure most of you understand. Anyway, we are now going to, I think, sell all of my gear. I'm actually just going to equip these guys, and then we're just going to sell every single thing I have here. Look at that, 462,000. Obviously, I have installed a mod. Oh no, it's going to ruin the fun. Oh no. I must take myself out to the gallows right now. Oh, yes. Oh, that is terrible. Oh, you know what? I'll be right back. You know what? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go. I'm not going out to the gallows, obviously. Anyway, there you go. 462,000. Absolutely fantastic. We've got 1 million now. So here's the thing. Obviously, because we now have everything has a price, it's going to be a lot of... Well, it might be kind of cool to do a little bit of trading. So I'm actually thinking I might try to buy Tubalist Castle, if I can actually do that. I don't want to buy anything too dramatic here, because I don't think he's going to want to speak to me. I mean, considering he's actually at war against us. Okay, so what about if I buy something from the Vlandians? So what about, who owns Galend? I think Dirthart owns Galend, right? Yes, he does. So he has 60 relation with us, hilariously enough. So it might make sense for us to try and see whether we can speak to him and maybe we're going to have the ability to buy Galend from him. Okay, so how much do you want, sir? No way, no way. All right, yeah, he is, yeah. As you can quite clearly tell, 1 million gold is not enough of an incentive to get Galend from him. Oh my, oh yeah, that is real harsh. Oh well, never mind. I don't mind, that's fine. Because we can just end up taking it, I suppose. All right. Okay. So here's the thing. I think someone also mentioned I could make peace with the Southern Empire for free, and then I would still be at war against the Aserai. Is that how it works? Because as far as I'm aware, the Aserai is in an alliance with the Southern Empire, so I expected them to follow suit. In other words, they are going to make peace at the same time, and as a result, we're going to miss out on 1400 tribute per day. I'm going to try this out because you suggested it, and I want to see if it actually does work in the way that you say, because if it does, this is going to make things much, much easier for us. So let's have a look. It seems to, right? Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great. Thank you very much for letting me know, because I didn't know. I thought to myself, oh, they're you know, they're in an alliance. I thought they're definitely going to do similar things, and they're going to, you know, participate in similar ways in regards to their actions in diplomacy and various other circumstances like that. So yeah, that actually helps us a great deal. I mean, the tribute is not that great, but it is providing us with a small little benefit, I suppose you could say. Anyway, we have leveled up our tactics skill. When you are attacked in a field battle, 10% more damage in simulations. What? That's some very weird use of language right there, but okay, let's have a look here. Cavalry troops in your formation deal 2% more damage to enemy infantry. I'm actually thinking I'll take this, because even though 2% more damage doesn't seem like a huge amount, we have a lot of cavalry at the moment, and I think 2% per unit is probably going to be really, really powerful, but I'm thinking maybe this is better because it is a party leader skill rather than a captain skill. Because I don't know whether... Am I actually a captain of one of the formations? I don't know whether we are, so I'm just going to go for the party leader skill anyway. And that's generally going to be a little bit easier for us anyway to use, because I think it's probably going to be more active. You know, it's a more active trait that is going to, well, generally be more useful over time, because we're probably going to be doing more simulations than we are going to be captaining a particular formation or something like that. So yeah, that's probably what's going to go down there. Anyway, I'm going to try and take Quyaz here. Now, obviously, Quyaz might be a little bit tricky, but I mean, they have quite a large garrison, admittedly, but you can see here they have very few master archers. And generally what I'm actually going to try is I will try to enter battles much more often manually. I know it seems kind of weird considering I have literally just spec'd into tactics a whole bunch, but that's just kind of an insurance policy. So if we do end up being in a situation where simulation is required, then we're not going to be at a disadvantage. That's basically my whole thinking regarding that. But other than that, we also want to make sure that our companions, I don't want to say this because I don't want to jinx them, but I wanted to make sure that our companions do have a chance to actually go into grave situations and dangerous circumstances, so that they might actually end up dying. Because obviously I don't want them to die, do bear that in mind, I don't want them to die obviously, but if I am always going into simulations, they will not ever have a chance to have that happen. That's basically the thing I'm getting at here, because if I am never going into battle, then obviously they're never going to die. So that kind of makes sense. Oh yeah, also, as I said at the beginning of the episode, we're going to be trying to find a wife. And we're going to see if we can marry someone. I'm thinking Liena at the moment. I know that seems kind of... I mean, maybe it's not actually weird. Maybe it's not actually weird for us to go for Liena again, because Barney, I believe, married Liena as his first marriage proposal, basically, as his first courtship. back in the very first series of Bannerlord that I ever made, and that actually seems kind of nostalgic. So I'm thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just do that. That seems kind of fun, right? So I'm gonna send a messenger to Liena after this, if I remember. Yes, if I remember. I mean, I think I will probably forget. No. I think I will definitely remember. But yeah, generally, I think that's probably going to be our best option. She has really good combat stats. And Barney, obviously, is doing pretty well in terms of his stats as well. So any children that are going to be produced are going to be very, very nice. And I will very much look forward to seeing the results of their efforts. But yeah, otherwise, oh, our battering ram is actually making it here. Fantastic. Let's just speed things up real fast. Get the gate down. And oh, I thought that was the last one. There we go. There's the last one. And now we can see what is actually going on here. So we want to get the gate down as fast as possible. Make sure that we don't get any of the rocks dropped on our faces. I actually wonder whether they even have one of those in this particular town configuration. I assume they do. I mean, it seems like most of them actually do. So yeah, anyway. Oh, wow. That's a lot of enemies. That is a lot of enemies right here. We've got to be very, very careful. We really do not want to be in a situation where we are cornered, but it seems like my forces are pushing them back quite nicely here. And oh yeah, actually, you know what I've done? Yeah, that's actually something that I didn't mention either. I have reduced the amount of damage that my units do. Okay, so in other words, they're no longer doing the same damage as the enemy. They're actually now doing 75% of the regular amount of damage. I actually wanted to mention that before, but I obviously forgot to do that. Basically, it's the same sort of thing as, you know, increasing their death chance, pretty much. And I'm basically making it more difficult in general. But yeah, I have done that. So they are going to be having much less damage, but they're still obviously, I mean, you can obviously tell that they are still dealing some pretty decent damage. But we are taking many, many more casualties now as a result of that, because of course if they have more damage, they're going to kill enemies before the enemies even have a chance to attack. But now that I've reduced their damage by 25%, that is going to make an overall difference to how much damage they end up taking, which is obviously going to be kind of interesting. So yeah, that's generally what I'm doing right here. And unfortunately, I don't think... Yeah, actually, you know what? I tried to look for a setting that actually increases the amount of damage that the enemies do, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like I could find it. It doesn't seem like there is one, because we're already playing at 100%. In other words, we're already playing at realistic difficulty. The only setting that is not on realistic is my own damage. And obviously the main reason for that is because I'm literally trying to have fun. And obviously, if I die instantly from an arrow to the face by taking an additional 50% damage, well, that's not very fun, because then I'm basically just going to be standing there watching the fight ensue. Now, this is one of those times... Yeah, there we go. Okay, thankfully, thankfully that did actually end. But yeah, that was one of those times that I was a little bit worried. I was thinking to myself, oh no, is the siege going to get stuck? And are we going to have to retreat or something like that? But thankfully I didn't have to. Let's level up a Sturgeon and an Imperial right here. Sounds pretty fun to me. And we'll give them athletics, tactics, scouting. There we go. That seems pretty good to me. All right, so... yeah, we actually lost many, many more casualties, obviously because we have some great surgeons on hand. We didn't lose too many to actual death, but we did lose 91 to wounded. So you got to bear in mind that if we didn't have as good medicine skill, that would obviously be much, much higher. But as I said, if and when we are actually able to field an entire army filled with companions, and I'm aiming for 100, okay? I'm aiming for 100. So as soon as I have 100 companions, that will happen. Don't worry about it. That will happen. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to decline Quyaz. And what we're going to do is we're going to very quickly go into the dungeon, and I'm going to place all of the prisoners that I have in there. And then we're basically just going to wait here for some time. Can I manage the town? Yes, I can. Okay, fantastic. This is great. That's exactly what I wanted to do, because I want to place a whole bunch of money in there. So for the next person that, you know, maintains the town, they're going to have a nice surprise waiting for them, I suppose you could say. And we're just going to wait here for some time and see what's happening. Hopefully... Oh, yeah. Oh, look, look, look. There's Thul. There's Thul. Fantastic. Look at him. He's leading his own army. That's really, really nice to see. Oh, I love it. I love seeing our companions doing these kinds of things. It's always really, really fun when you see your old companions come in here. Alright, so we have the vote for the owner of Quyaz. Are we going to give this to Vadrios Madrios, or are we going to give this to Lundana Melios? Well, I'm actually not entirely sure. How much does this guy... Oh, yes, he loves us, doesn't he? I mean, he's got really great traits. That's what I mean to say. Lundana has good traits as well, actually. So, I have no idea. What does she actually have? She has Drapad Castle. I believe Vadrios has... Yes, he has Ortisia. This makes no sense. I'm going to give it to Lundana because Vadrios already has a town, and that makes more sense in my opinion. So we're going to be going for her. There we go. And we might see her in action a little bit more often now as well, which is obviously something that would be pretty nice to see. Okay, so I have 1600 influence, and I think you can kind of tell what I really want to do here. We are going to increase our people's influence by a relatively significant amount. I'm actually going to make the Sharasa brothers have really large amounts of influence right here so that they can continue to lead their armies. That's what I want to try and do, because if they don't have influence, they're not going to be able to maintain them, and then they're going to disband, and their whole push against the Aserai is going to fall, well, flat on its face, basically. But yeah, there we go. All right, so what about leadership? Do we want to do that? I think we've taken a look at leadership, and generally your kills have 100% higher effect on friendly troops' battle morale. That's pretty good. But do we need morale? Not really. We're always capped out because we are, well, doing quite well. What's this? +1 companion. Okay, yeah, +1 companion. That sounds very, very useful, doesn't it? Okay, yeah, oh yeah, I wanted to get a smithing companion, didn't I? Yeah, that's actually something that I need to do. What about riding skill? I mean, generally I'm not going to really ride that often, so it's not really something I'm thinking about. What about medicine? Ignore the first negative outcome for the terminally ill roll? Oh my. And hero death chance in battle is 50% less. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could take this, but we haven't had any casualties just yet anyway, so that doesn't really help us. Oh, what about that though? That looks really nice. Increase max health of other heroes in your party by +10. Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. Let's put another point in intelligence as well. There we are. Let's get our medicine skill leveled up. Actually, who is even doing the whole surgeon thing? Who's that? I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is. Amalgan. Oh, okay, okay. He's actually amazing, as you can quite clearly tell. So, yeah, he has 293 in medicine, so it's basically not even necessary for us to really change anything up here. So, yeah, as you can see, we do have some parties running around, and they're doing quite well. Or at least I think they're doing quite well. Maybe they're not, but yeah, I think that should be fine. Let's take a look at our party real quick. Okay, so how many units do I even have? How many companions do I even have right here? Can I actually check that? I think I can check that in the... Yeah, there we go. Oh, I can't even have 100? Oh, I think I can actually increase the amount that I can have. I can have... I think I can have more than 88. But maybe I should just go for that. Maybe I should just try to go for around 80 or something like that. So we need another 30 companions. And then I will try an army consisting entirely of companions, and then we'll see how we do. I think that's going to be super fun and pretty entertaining, or at least I hope so. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe it's going to, well, indeed, you know, be like... I don't know, taking a paper bag to a knife fight, or whatever. That sounds like a great saying, doesn't it? Oh yes, also, Liena. Thank you for reminding me. Alright. Oh. She apparently has just been defeated. Or she's in the prisoner's hold at Oxhole. No, she's escaped. It says she's escaped from captivity. Okay, that's interesting. When did she escape? She escaped 4 days ago. Yeah, 4 days ago. Okay, so that's actually not bad. That means that we don't really need to worry about it too much, and hopefully we'll be able to send a messenger to her quite soon. I wouldn't say too soon, but quite soon. And you can see here that Bidal is actually getting in on the action as well. He's doing a little bit of a siege at Tubulus Castle. Nice to see that. Liena, unfortunately, still unavailable to be spoken to. But, well, I suppose I don't really blame her, to be honest, because, I mean, she has great traits, by the way, as you can see right here. Look at this. All of her traits are absolutely fantastic. She has really, really good skills, too, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing if she can actually be spoken to. She might even be in the prisoner's hold, and we just can't tell, because it says that she's escaped, but as you can quite clearly see, she's last seen at Oxhole, which is really, really weird. I don't actually know, but look at this. We have a bit of a situation on our hands here. Tyus' army is engaging Thul, and I will go in and assist our friend. Oh yes, you cannot do battle against Mr. Thul. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Okay, so now, let's see. I mean, obviously, we seem to be pretty easily capable of winning this fight, mainly because we outnumber the opponent and, well, generally, you know, his units are probably not going to be that good, but we'll see. I'm going to bring out my bow here, try and do a little bit of damage, just to weaken them up a little bit, if I can actually hit, to be honest. Oh, nice. That was a good hit. Not too bad. Okay, wait a minute. Seems like they're doing that thing that they usually do, where they basically just send their cavalry out randomly and get some of them killed immediately, and then they just retreat back to the main body of forces, which is absolutely fine. If they want to do that, then that is obviously their prerogative. I really do need to create a new mace, by the way. I know someone's actually been mentioning that, and yeah, that is actually very true. I do need to make a new mace, maybe a slightly longer one. I mean, the main problem with smithing in the game at the moment is that many of the other weapon types have not really been expanded that dramatically. So, for example, if we look at axes and we look at maces, and indeed two-handed maces as well, the Warhammer section of the smithing menu is basically bare bones. It's literally, it's just got that one thing. It's just got the sledgehammer or something like that, right? I believe that's all it's got. And that, in my opinion, is kind of harsh. I think we need to have more options in regards to smithing, and I would love to be able to actually create bows as well. Creating bows, creating crossbows, and maybe allow the modding community to also implement guns as well. So, I mean, obviously this is... maybe it's not even necessary, to be honest, because, to be fair, Bannerlord, in terms of its, shall we say, technological advancement, is very, very far before warband. In other words, guns are not really a thing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it depends. Obviously, if you're using like a total conversion or something like that, where it is actually a little bit further ahead in time, then of course, you know, guns are going to be a thing. But in this timeline right now, you know, this particular year, it's not really likely to see guns. But it would be cool to be able to create basically any item that you want. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And hopefully they're going to add it, you know? Hopefully they're going to add the ability to do that. I think that would be pretty fun. Especially creating bows and creating crossbows and stuff like that. Because we can already create thrown weapons. So why should we not be able to create bows, right? I mean, can we? Wait a minute. Am I actually forgetting that we can create bows or not? I don't think we can create bows right now, because I would expect that to be a pretty prominent thing Yeah, I don't think we can. But it would also be kind of nice to be able to do things like apply certain effects to arrows and stuff like that. So you could have poison arrows, or you could have... I mean, I know you can have flaming arrows with certain siege, I believe, or certain situations. I'm actually not entirely sure about that. But it would be cool, you know? It would be cool to have the option to do that. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I don't know whether you've noticed already, by the way, but generally we have switched to a slightly different format for this series, where there's an episode every day, but it's slightly shorter, because obviously I need a lot of time. If it's an hour long, well, my PC, should we say, needs a lot of time to be able to process the file, and then obviously to upload it takes a while as well. So generally that's the reason why it was every other day, but hopefully you're going to like this new format just as much, because it is indeed giving you more content every single day, and then you don't have to wait, which is kind of cool in my opinion. But well, we'll see. Anyway, Vlandian Banner Knights. Yes, we will get more views. There we are. Very nice indeed. Okay, I'm going to get Riding Athletics Scouting. Riding Athletics Scouting. There we go. I basically just want these guys to be super good at combat. That's pretty much... We've had a death! Well, not us. Not us specifically, but someone from the opponent has died. So I think that's kind of nice. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't really want to wish death on anyone, but it is just an AI after all, but there we go. And we're just going to allow most of the others to go. We are quite close to Quyaz, aren't we? Yeah, looters don't really go into anything, as you can see right here, so I'm not going to be rescuing those. They don't really go into noble units or anything like that, so just so you know. And we're going to equip some people. Look at that. Massive amounts of stuff right there. Very nice. All right. So where are we actually? Oh yeah, we're right next to this. Okay, so we are going to go back to Quyaz. I'm going to sell all the prisoners, I suppose. And Thul is going to run away too. How is he doing, by the way? He's doing well. Look at the amount of sharpshooters he has in his army. I'm surprised he was losing. Look at that. See, now this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes the AI, even if you give them some of the best units in the game, and I'm talking about Vlandian sharpshooters, you give them Vlandian banner knights, sergeants, all these really high tier units. Even if you give them all of those, sometimes it makes no difference, because they just have poor tactics, you know? And I'm not talking about the statistic, obviously, I'm not talking about the skill, but generally they sometimes decide to do some really weird stuff. So they'll basically just go like, oh yeah, I'm gonna charge everyone in. I'm going to charge my cavalry and hold everyone else back so they don't have any support. You know, those kinds of situations. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Anyway, there's probably going to be another conflict going on here with Mr. Ialus, so I'm probably going to eliminate him. Maybe we'll eliminate him at the start of the next episode, but for now, that will be it for this one. And it seems like we have a rather lengthy war with the Aserai going to continue. And I'm very much looking forward to spreading throughout Aserai lands, and I'm thinking we're probably going to go along here. I would like to be able to take this castle, and then Askar. I think that's probably going to be the best thing that we can do. Even though Sanala is closer, I don't really want to take something that is along the main path of enemy reinforcements, because most people... they're going to be coming from Kasira, they're going to be coming from Iakis, and they're going to go this way along the coast. And they are automatically just going to go to Sanala. Obviously, if we can draw them over to Askar, then that generally gives our own vassals much more space, so they can do whatever they want to do without being harassed as much. That doesn't mean that it's going to be, you know, impossible for them to be harassed, but we can only hope. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.